All right, babies are going to start crying. People don't like that. You know, hear a lot of people yelling, "Why do they do that?"
Yeah, the sneak pass.
Yeah.
With the Thunderbirds, you guys were always set with whatever position you were in. You never swapped to one of those roles.
I did. The only time that we, and I say this loosely, got to play around was on the survey day. So we'd show up to a new place, and it was really for the solos and the boss, but for the rest of the diamond, we had to know the scenario, the terrain. So the four of us in the diamond would get in a long string, so like almost like 1 mile trail. And then the solos were doing that thing, and the boss was trying to figure out the timing, and we're looking for, we would break up for the bomb burst, various things, because we're going between in front of the crowd, behind the crowd, and towers and mountains and buildings and all that kind of stuff. But that was a time where you basically had the entire air show box was sanitized, and you could run with scissors, if you will.
I like that.
And roll around. So we'd always say hi to our crew chiefs really close.
All right, today I have with me Slick Baum, who is a former F-16 pilot and Thunderbird pilot. We're going to react to some of the latest viral military clips. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Boom.
All right,
here come the G's.
Initials.
12 G's?
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah,
and his eyes are still
have an aneurysm.
Pretty wide open here.
Look at his left eye.
Wow.
12 G's, that's insane. I did hear that they did some testing back in the day. When was this shot? 97? The 90s, yeah. Back when they didn't have rules.
Right. Well, and that mask was very new in 97, right? So this is probably getting up for the bladder and the helmet to keep,
Yeah. Well, I know they were trying like new G suits. They were using the pressure vests and then the combat edge. So they probably just wanted to see how far they could push it. But 9 G's is enough for me.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Nellis.
That's right. Jacket's smooth.
Yep. F-16 is tough to land smoothly.
It is.
There's a good PIO. There's the Navy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would be surprised. F-16, really tough. I mean, it's pretty easy to fly from A to B, but landing it, at least smoothly, is pretty tricky.
You almost, I always found to have a smoother landing, I always had to give it like a little, goose, a little, almost like a power on type of landing to smoothly flare it on. It wasn't like you almost trying to reach like a stall speed and gently touch down like you would in like a GA airplane or something like that. But,
yeah, I think it might be like what I heard was the flight controls aren't quite as fast as like the F-35. F-35 is super easy to grease it on, but the F-16 you're kind of fighting it in game.
Right.
With the flight control system.
But let's talk about this landing real quick, right? So the thing, Air Force guys land smooth, the Navy guys just come powering in, but look at how beefy that gear is on the F-18. That's the impressive part.
Yeah, I mean, that F-35, they have the C model with a lot beefier gear, so you can't do that with the Air Force gear.
For sure.
A lot lighter and, I guess better pilots, so you don't need to do that.
As a fighter pilot, one of the things you get used to is always being seconds away from a fiery death. You're balancing on a razor's edge of performance where the success of each flight hinges on the accumulation of thousands of correct decisions. It only takes one wrong move for a flight to end in catastrophe.
Check out my new book, The Art of Clear Thinking. It's how to apply fighter pilot decision-making principles to your everyday life. It's been well received so far. It's been a priority book by Barnes & Noble as well as Meta, formerly Facebook. It's also been selected as a must-read by the Next Big Idea Club with Malcolm Gladwell. Check it out.
There's a classic video right there.
Yeah.
For an amazing Air Force career.
Oh, there we go. F-35.
Yeah.
Should have done plenty of that.
Yeah. I mean, the
What
lighting, beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome vapes.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that's going supersonic. So I'm sure you've done plenty of low passes like that. So how fast is he flying?
I think they have to be right around transonic, right? Probably like 0.94-ish, I think is usually where they're living.
What were you guys limited to? Because I heard a rumor, let me know if this is true, that if you fly more than 0.97 Mach and open the speed brakes, you can create mini sonic booms.
Absolutely, yeah, it'll just shot right off the tail of the jet. So
Yeah.
the solos had to be very, very careful on the sneak passes because you're just wanting to rage in, sneak up on the crowd. So yeah, 0.95 is usually where everyone tried to limit themselves, and there was the occasional, as you've probably heard or read about, folks that didn't do that.
I mean, that probably doesn't break any windows, those speed brake ones.
I don't know if the speed brake ones do, but I know if you full up break the sound barrier, because I've heard of the checks that had to be written for the
Anybody
windows that
when you were on
out.
the team?
We did have a sonic boom when I was on the team, but it was in an area where there wasn't a lot of houses and stuff like that. But I think there was a recent one at Tucson where they broke some windows.
Jeez. Yeah, that can get pricey.
Yeah.
I heard some rumors back at the Air Force Academy, someone going supersonic in F4, breaking all the windows, and it was a multi-million-dollar check.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
All right, so I want to do this hazard. You actually drove to visit me, so you got to drive through the Lehigh Tunnel.
Yeah.
And since I saw this video, every time I drive through, it looks just like that.
Yeah.
I think with the extra 330L or 330L, I'd love to.
No margin for error.
None.
You feel pretty confident doing that?
I do, and I think it's just because of more of the air show flying, and as you know, if you needed to, combat departure, right? You're take off, bring the gear up, kind of settle back down, accelerate as fast as you can.
Yeah.
I think you could keep it on center line.
Yeah, I think
so.
so.
I'm not worried
There's
about
no
left
wind.
and right. There's no wind.
Yeah. You just committed though. Like once you're in, you're stuck.
Totally agree.
All right. Well, let's set that up. I wonder if they had to do this in a different country.
That's a good question. Yeah,
I mean,
don't
Red
know.
Bull is pretty good at figuring things out.
They are. That was epic.
That is pretty cool. Oh, nice B-52 with what is that, a Su-30?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, that's just got to be daunting.
Yeah.
To be the crew there.
Yeah. It's not good to be a bomber being intercepted.
But, I don't know. I think that there's also like the common bond of aviation military fighter pilots when, there is rocking his wings. And he goes for the classic headbutt, right?
I mean, that's a little close in my book.
Absolutely.
Again, same thing. Most foreign air forces do things a little bit less safe than the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, they're not following training rules, right?
No. Well, a lot of people think you don't follow training rules in combat, but I think for the most part you do. At least when we went to combat, because there's still the deconfliction issues, things like that.
For sure. I will tell you though, I had a strafing run that I did not have training rules because I was strafing the top of the building.
Oh, really?
And so, everything that's normal as I'm doing my run-in is kind of pinging off the ground. And I actually did a low-angle strafe just based on weather. And when I bottomed out, my RALT hit the top of the 3-story building and showed 75 feet. So, but, it was troops in contact. There were people taking fire, so we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, a lot of people think the gun is obsolete, but yeah, when I was in combat, I strafed 3 times, and it's still formidable.
Absolutely.
F-35, you only have 181 rounds, so you got to use them sparingly.
Right, but it's a bigger round, so.
It is bigger, so, yeah. But that's pretty crazy, low-angle strafe. I was doing all high-angle strafe, but low-angle strafe, you get pretty low to the ground.
Yeah, it was kind of because of me that we said we're not going to do low-angle strafe in combat.
You're the guy?
I'm the guy.
Like, you ruined it.
So, yeah, no, I mean, it was a weather thing, but, it really had to do with, safe escape and that type of stuff. To just, I was mainly dealing with a weather troop and contact situation.
When was this?
This was in 2004.
Okay, so yeah, way back in the day. Because, did they have, like, full-up low-angle strafe, high-angle strafe back then, or was it just kind of point at the ground and pull the trigger?
No, this is well before, Maestro O'Malley and the other folks really put together a lot of high-angle strafe. And we had some other folks in the squadron that were doing high-angle strafe in an urban environment, and it was like we really, back in the day, it was something that we kind of practiced, but it was like, you were going to the range, as you know, on a BSA ride, and you're getting points, right? You're scored for the turkey shoot for the Top Gun award. And I think we know that low-angle strafe is very, very accurate. For those that don't know, it's usually about a 100-round burst that you're counting, shooting through the rag, if you will, which is just counting those sonic booms, right, as the rounds go through. So to get on a 100-round pass to get 60, 70 counter was pretty normal within the squadron. So we know that we could be accurate, but then you from a vulnerability standpoint, you're just way too close to small arms.
Yeah, especially F-16, no armor. Just takes a golden BB to shoot you down.
That's right. Sounds like a debrief from my squadron commander.
Yeah, yeah.